Harris Van Beek from the Nous Group. I'm interested, you made the comment that markets may not be suitable for some areas of public service or service delivery, and I'm interested, my comments are partly in the context of what I saw as an over-enthusiastic embracing of markets for the delivery of some services, and they've not always, I think, delivered as well as they were originally intended. So my question to you is, and this, for example, in the services in remote areas of Australia for Indigenous people, I think you've done a report on that. So my question to you is, how does a government make a decision of whether or not markets are appropriate for the delivery of services? And secondly, what are the implications for government? Because my understanding is that, for example, when the Rudd government was elected, they found that many public servants had become, or public services had become much more equipped at managing contracts than being good at developing public policy. And so the fundamental role of government when you outsource services becomes quite stretched. And I'm wondering if you could speak about how you make the decisions and what the impact is on the public service.
Well, there's a lot there, and more than I could respond to here. I mean, those decisions about the market versus government doing itself, I think, are quite subtle ones, and they hinge on the nature of the incentives, how well you can define success, and therefore how well you can monitor outcomes. And all of those things are very important. I think we've gone through a process of experimenting with contracting out in all sorts of areas in relation to certain services for the unemployed, for example, and in relation to even contracting out policy advice or policy analysis. And I think we are on a learning curve about those things. One thing that we have learnt is that for government to be a good contractor, for government to make the best use of the market or market participants, they also need to know that everything that those participants know and be able to monitor their performance and devise the contracts in a way that are just as smart as the way in which those contracts will be put into action. So some of the problems we've had with private-public partnerships, for example, I think have reflected government not being a very smart contractor or supervisor of contracts or designer of contracts, rather than necessarily being an inherent flaw in that model. Equally, I think when government is contracting out policy analysis, whether it be modelling or other survey-based work or other analysis, there needs to be people within the administration who are designing those contracts and supervising the work, who actually understand a good product from a bad one. So there's a great danger in contracting out too much, that you lose the capability, not to do it yourself necessarily, but the capability to screen and understand the quality of the work that's coming back from contractors in the market. So that's a very general response, but I think those things are particularly important, that we get the right balance in that area too.